Hey guys, Lou here from LT's Custom Woodworks. Welcome to the shop. Today, another day, another dollar. Today is part 2 back on the island build. If you haven't seen the first part, it'll be at the end of the video. Now we are going to be working with these style hinges. I hate working with these because there's no room for play. There's no adjustments with these. So what they are is what they are. You get a very little adjustment up and down, but that's it. You don't get much with these. So there's a certain way I like to build my drawer fronts when I'm using these style hinges. What I do is I clamp it into place. This is just so I can get my measurements. So I'm going to clamp one on each side. And this is going to give me my width. Now here I got 32 and an eighth. I'm going to cut this top drawer at 32 and an eighth. I want this top drawer front to match with the doors itself. So I'm going to make it 32 and an eighth. I'm going to cut it out of a 1x8, and I'm going to cut my length. Now, of course, I have to router the edges in that, but for now, I am just going to clamp this. Just roughly, it could be anywhere. Now I'm going to cut for my stiles. I got to cut 4 of them. The height that I'm going to clip it at the very bottom here. I'm going to go 23 and a half. And then of course I can give an adjustment up and down on this part. So I'm going to cut them at 32 and a half. And I'm going to cut 4 of them by 2 3/8 wide. Pieces are cut and sanded down. I like to pre-sand everything before I run it through the router table. Now we're going to determine the width, and that's going to be where our center is. So if we have a measurement 32 and an eighth, so I'm going to measure my opening here. So in the middle, it's going to be 16 and a 16th. It's going to be the same thing on this side, a 16 and a 16th, and that is going to be your doors. You're going to take that 16 and a 16th, you're going to minus 2 3/8, plus minus another 2 3/8 for the width of the size of your door. Then you're going to add 3/8 and add 3/8, and that is this tenon. So overall length that I need to cut is going to be 12. I'm going to cut 4 pieces, 12. Okay, all my pieces are sanded, ready to go. I'm going to pick the faces that I want the door to face out. I want the good side that I prefer to use. This is going to be the front, so I'm going to mark the backs on them so I don't get confused. The back is basically going to be facing up on the jig. Now, if you don't know how to set your bits up, I'll drop a link below on my last video on the coping sled, and there it shows on how you set up the router bits. So the jig I'm going to push right up against. I'll put my sacrificial piece so I don't get blowout. I got this piece right up tight, clamp her down, and start making my cuts. We're done with the coping sled. Now I'm going to switch the router bit. Now that I got my pieces cut, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put one together. And I'm going to measure out from my panel. Now the way I do this is I'm going to measure, I always do my width first. So I'm going to measure the width and I'm going to add 3/4 of an inch. So I got 11 1/4, add 3/4. I'm going to make them 12. I might shave a 1/16 off just to leave it a little bit of play room in the panel for humidity and that in the house. Climate change. So we're going to cut this 12. Now we're ready for glue up. Now I'm not going to put a lot of glue. I don't want too much squeeze out. And that looks pretty good. Now we will clean up some of the squeeze out. It's better to do it now than after. Now that these sat overnight, I'll take them out of the clamps and sand them down. Now I'm going to mark 2 1/4. And that's where my hinge starts. From top and bottom. And I will screw these into place. Now we're ready to install the doors. And that takes care of that. Now we're ready to install these. I gotta sand these down first, and then we'll get these installed. And that takes care of that. I'll take the drawers off and then I'll drill the holes right through. We are ready to drill our holes. I will clean these up a little bit. This is what he gave me to use, so if you didn't watch my last video, watch it and you'll understand why I'm using these old hardware on a new cabinet. Now that I have everything in place, I'm going to remove all the hardware so I can router off all the way around all the edges. I got my bit set up. Now we're going to run our doors through and get that cut into place. And I will do that to all the door fronts. Now I like to run a strip of tape for where I drill my pinholes for my shelving. It just helps a little bit for blowout. Once I make sure I got a good fit, then I will edge band the shelf. And that's looking good. I use my file and I just cut, and then I sand at a 5-degree bevel, and I use the tip of my file to cut. I do have those laminate cutters. I don't like them. Kick plates cut, and I just used 1/2 inch. I got 2 pieces here of just stock material. I am going to cut an L shape and use it as a corner, and then I'll trim the top off. I have my cutout from the template. Now I'm just going to give this a light sand and get it ready for oil. Now that everything's stained and it's sat for a bit, for a few hours, I'm going to apply a sand and sealer. I'm going to put one good generous coat. That will sit for about 15-20 minutes, and then I'll spray 2 coats of clear. The lacquer had dried overnight. I used a Vericure 20% sheen. Now we're ready to install all the hardware. Now I'm going to soak this every couple hours for the next few days. Then I'll install it from there. But this is going to get a coat every few hours until it's just drenched in oil. Okay, I got the unit in place. There is kind of a mess here because they're in the middle of renovations. But the countertop's secured. I caulked all the way around. These are the drawers here that I was telling you about, that it's giving you not a lot of room to work with. And of course then when you have chairs that sit up, they have to move for him to open a door, and they got to kind of duck down underneath to get what they want to get. But that's what he wanted, and that's what he gets. I'll bring the camera for a closer shot. And there you are. And this is a 5-foot island. But as you can see, it would have been nice pushing it out the other side, but that's where the dining room table is. But it is what it is, and that is that. That pretty much wraps it up there. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.